I'm Kim Serafini, the founder, creator, inventor of Positive Prime Technology. It is indeed an honor, privilege, and pleasure to be here, and I'm here for you. And so this is a special opportunity once a week where our subscribers and those who are actually going through our trial have an opportunity to ask me questions. I am part management consultant, advisor, board member, contributor, and part energy healer. I am an exceptional coach and a guide. So we can do everything from advice to suggestions to recommendations. And of course, I can talk to you about what are the best sessions for you to watch if you're actually dealing with a particular issue and anything else. So you can use this as me giving you coaching advice or asking you questions to have you think about it. But I'm here for you. And I'm not the only Positive Prime leader who will show up to these weekly meetings, but these meetings happen weekly. And effectively, it's included in our subscription. So let's get started. Who has a question? Who, Jennifer? Awesome.
Well, I have several questions, but I'm in Massachusetts, and so there's also a meeting on Tuesday mornings at 8:30. Is that different, or can we go? Because tonight I have to leave like in 30 minutes. So if I have more questions.
These happen every week. This
Okay.
is very specifically about being a positive primer.
Okay.
This is about really extracting the most value out of Positive Prime sessions.
Okay.
As an intervention, as a tool.
Okay.
We do have another gathering, a group gathering for people who want to be active affiliates of Positive Prime, and we call that our Abundance Club. And so that does happen at 7:30 a.m. my time on Tuesday mornings, and I'm in the time zone that is in the capital city of Brisbane in the state of Queensland in Australia. So that's 2 hours prior to this, right? So I hope that answers the question.
It does actually. Okay, great. So one of my questions is, can I think this is awesome. Like I was on Dana's call, or I got to watch that, and it was just so cool. I'm just fired up. Can any of the slides be customized? Because I literally just started my actual membership today. Can they be? Yeah, I know. Can they be customized? Like, or is there a reason why I would want to see all kinds of things? Because I identify as a Christian. And it's not, I don't have anything against any other faiths or anything like that, but I just didn't know if maybe I wanted to see less of one thing, but more of another. So, and please forgive me if that sounds shallow.
No, it sounds perfect. It is the most beautiful question. Jennifer, I love your honesty and transparency. I truly believe in sincere and genuine exchanges when we come from a very loving and compassionate place. So I honor you with this answer. Okay, so the short story of a very long story is there is a formula to the types of images that are used in a Positive Prime session and the numbers of images that are used in a Positive Prime session. And there is also other aspects to the formula about why you can speed it up and slow it down, and why it reshuffles its randomized order every single time you press play, and why you can personalize the sessions in terms of uploading your own photographs. So let's talk about I think two main aspects of some of the mission and the passion and the vision of Positive Prime. We actually here at Positive Prime truly do believe in diversity and inclusion, and it's actually baked into everything that we do. And so the way that I use Positive Prime is that I might sit in front of the actual session flowing, and I will give thanks that I can contribute to and influence all of the types of people that I can see. And in that way, I feel like what I'm really asking is that for my work in this world to make a meaningful difference to the greatest number of people of all shapes and sizes and everywhere on the planet, and that I can help to uplift anyone, no matter who they are and no matter where they are. And so I look at Positive Prime as this is the way that I send love to every single person on the planet who's like the people that I'm seeing. Now, a lot of the people who are involved in Positive Prime are also involved in direct sales or network marketing or affiliate marketing and so forth. And what I would encourage anybody who serves customers to do is that as they're viewing Positive Prime sessions, to literally imagine that you are in service of all of these kinds of people and anybody remotely like them, right? Now, what that might mean is that you have a customer who purchases a product or service from you, and in them using your product or service, they actually become a positive influence. And so there's a ripple effect, and there are unintended and intended consequences and implications of us being these bright shining lights in the world. And from that perspective, I actually know that here in the Positive Prime world, we've got members from every country on the planet. And when I believe that everybody is feeling much more peaceful inside, and they've got peaceful minds, and their minds are actually kind to them, like that self-talk is really gentle and uplifting and inspiring and entertaining, we actually emanate peace on the planet. So we like truly become that which we wish to see in the world. And we bring about peace on the planet because of who we are, right? And so I think it's a very robust answer to why are there all of these different types of people, circumstances, and situations that are built into the formula of a Positive Prime session, because I would like for all of us in the Positive Prime global community to just have this very subtle awareness and this consciousness that who we are as peaceful beings contributes to bringing about peace on the planet. And I would also say, yes, absolutely, you can weight a particular session in your own best interests. So I upload all the types of photographs that are of everything and everyone I've ever been grateful for the gifts that they've been in my life, for who they've helped me to become in terms of my own strength and courage, what I've learned. And as a consequence, I have 9,000 personal photographs. And each Positive Prime session is actually 1,000 frames, 800 images, and 200 statements. And so I have I've written out all of my statements. So here's what I propose to you. If there are psalms, or there are excerpts, or there are statements that have great significance to you and great meaning to you, you can give me an example. You could actually have our concierge team, if you actually avail yourself of our concierge service, or if you already know how to use Canva, or you can create a PowerPoint presentation slide and you can save it as a JPEG and you can upload that JPEG. I would create your own personal collection of frames that have your goals on them, and that have the quotes, the motivational quotes that really mean something to you. And that way we personalize the experience, and we can actually pour a lot of our own energy in, and it's almost like the more of our own energy we pour in, the more it actually dilutes. But we need the formula for a couple of reasons. And one of them is there are a certain number of what we call Duchenne smiles. And the Duchenne smiles are so key to what we do. I would argue that you might love a page, let me get it for you, that we've created. If you don't already have this, it's our page of short videos and free resources. So I think you'll find there's a lot of goodness on this page and reminders of all the key aspects. And given that you're here, you get that link. We don't publicly promote that link. We don't make it available. That free resources link is really for our special subscribers. So I would click that, keep it open. I'd go save that and watch all the videos that are there if you like. Now, tell me, Jennifer, did that actually answer your question? Do you feel calmer or more anxious? Be honest.
Honestly, I feel more calmer. And actually, I will tell you that it's really opened my mind anyway to when I think about my beliefs as a Christian, like there's two things anyway that we should be doing, and that's loving God and loving people. And I can't think of a better way to do that. So really, thank you.
Oh, no,
Seriously.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things that happen when I view Positive Prime sessions, and I actually feel like it's one of the reasons why we have attracted such an extraordinary a range of people across the planet to Positive Prime, is because I do actually hold that intention when I view sessions. And it's almost like I send blessings, but I send blessings like I hope that all of the people that I see and who they represent receive divine love and compassion.
I love
right?
that. Yes. Yes. And I don't want to be in a box anyway, you know?
But you're not, right?
Okay.
And you're
Right.
not.
Right.
It's an and world. It's not an either or.
Exactly.
You can be truly, completely faithful, and you can also be open, loving and kind and gentle, and I love your honesty, right? That is just, it's priceless. It's precious.
Thank you so much, Kim. And it's so nice to meet you.
Lovely for you. So I usually show up here every single week to answer questions, right? So I would definitely come again. One of the other questions I must admit that I get asked a lot is, how do I share my account with others, given that there is this 5-for-1 aspect? Let me just quickly go and show who here in the room wants to understand how to do that. Tell me, do all of you know how to share your account with 4 other people? No? Would you like to know? Okay, great. Let me share this. So you can actually see that I'm watching a Positive Prime session, as I quite frankly almost always do. I've got it on a different screen. I'm always being influenced by Positive Prime. Even when I'm working, I'm on the phone, I'm talking to somebody, and I've got this thing. And the faster the speed goes, the more it's actually really dealing with my unconscious and my superconscious, my connection. I believe it's my connection with the divine. For other people, they feel like it's connection in another way. So I just want to stop this, right? So I could just go and pause it. That's fine. I can go back to the dashboard, and what that's going to do is force that ending survey. So if I want to invite other people, I go up here to where your name is, where you can log out. You go to invite. And what you do here is you actually enter someone's email address, their first name, their action then is down into send invite. This actually sends them an email saying, Jennifer has invited you to share her account. Whilst you are a paying subscriber, you can actually share your account with others. If you actually stop paying, their access also stops. But this is what I would do. I would send someone an invite. If they didn't receive it, or they haven't acted, or you followed up with them and they're not really understanding how generous that gesture was, then you can actually resend them the invite, or you can actually retract the invite if they're not going to value what it is that you're providing, right? What you're sharing. And so we have lots of people who have, for example, team members. So they might want a leader in their team to actually really get to know Positive Prime. And then what they might say is, look, I'm going to gift you 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, because I'm actually going to associate you with my account. But then I promise you at this particular date, and they make a note in their schedule, their diary, or whatever, they're going to retract the invite, right? And then the person's actual access completely ends. But what you definitely want to do is you want to then go and encourage someone to click upgrade themselves, right? And then you want them to actually go down and choose for themselves whether they want to be monthly or they want to be yearly, right? And then they have their own account. And of course, then they can go and invite the 4 people that they like, right? So, you know, of course, we've got lots of examples of, you know, mothers sharing it with their 3 children and their husband, or I've got, you know, mine where I might share mine with my nieces and nephews, etc. So anyway, a lot of people ask me, so how do I share this? And quite frankly, you may as well get 5 for 1, right? May as well get 5 for 1. All righty, Kimberly. Great question. I'm sure coming from you, I know you, Mrs. Rackman.
Real quick question though. I have a family member that I shared this with like over a year ago, and she's literally did nothing. Can I go ahead and retract that?
Absolutely, you can.
I'm going to talk to her again because I would love for her personally. She has a heart condition. And I told her about your story, and they're wanting to do a transplant, right? And I'm like, you know what? Just do this like 2 or 3 times a day. I'd love to see what happens right after 30, 60, 90 days. You know, it's not going to hurt. I can only assume it's going to help to some degree, but what a great story it would be. So I'm just curious. I'm going to readdress that with her. You know, because I just think it would be so much fun to watch and see, you know, and she's getting
totally.
it. Yeah.
And you know, there's actually a session also. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to share. It's really interesting. In the hospital, whilst I was waiting for my pacemaker to be implanted, right? And they were doing all of this research, because I actually had a device that had been put into my chest that was monitoring me 24/7, and it was sending via Wi-Fi the signals to this device, and this device basically to the special cardiac clinic at this university hospital. And very advanced and very sophisticated and rather extraordinary and so forth. And so they had witnessed that my heart had stopped well and truly over 20+ seconds. And usually what happens when your heart stops is that, of course, you have oxygenated blood that's not being pumped around your body. And from a perfusion perspective, things start to go really, really wrong, because the other systems and organs in your body aren't getting fresh, oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood. And so you can have proper, irreparable, irreversible kidney damage and brain damage and everything else like that. So we're doing lots and lots of research. Well, I'll tell you, I actually did watch Audrey Weidman's session. I watched a lot of Positive Prime sessions when I was in the hospital. A lot of Positive Prime. And I literally I tried to consume as much as I possibly can. Now, I, of course, understand the science and even the nuances of the science. And so it was not negotiable for me. I didn't have to try to watch Positive Prime. I knew it was in my very best interests for survival and accelerated healing and everything else like that, right? So I definitely watched Heal Your Heart by Audrey. It's a beautiful session. Do you know there's actually another session by Nadine? And Nadine is a gifted healer, accomplished, very accomplished. And her session is called Heart Consciousness. Now, fascinatingly enough, I actually have an autonomic nervous system disorder, a very rare condition. And mine is actually not about my heart. It just so happens that my vagus nerve that sends messages to the S node of my heart, literally, there's something very wacky going on. And so it actually also does impact my lungs and my diaphragm and my digestive system and everything else. But I've got to do a lot to my brain. And as a consequence, funnily enough, I've just been playing with some of the most advanced neurofeedback devices on the planet and seeing. And I actually did a meeting last night with another woman who's a pharmacist in Ireland. She's a gorgeous person, Rachel. And Rachel and I were having a consultation. She's one of my colleagues, and she also owns one of these. And we were talking about all of the testing that we've been doing and what we've been learning and so forth. And it was fascinating. My brain was in a very healthy, happy state, above 90, which is quite difficult to be that pure in terms of your brain waves. Whilst I was having an animated conversation with her. And so if I ever wondered whether being in communication with somebody and both of us laughing with each other and both of us just doing our work, right? But it's good for my brain. It was just fantastic the way that I observed what was going on. So I had their app open, and anyway, what's fascinating is the faster speeds that I watch Positive Prime at, where I'm surrendering and letting go, funnily enough, are better for my brain. And when I'm actually engaged in a rather stressful email exchange or SMS exchange or like Facebook Messenger exchange, I'm fascinated with what's actually happening. And I was getting scores of like 15, and I was like, yikes. So guess what I did whilst I was doing it? Nice big deep breaths. And then I opened up a Positive Prime session in a different window and actually had the messenger window, and I'm working on my desktop. And it was really fascinating. The minute that I had this awareness or this consciousness of what was actually legitimately happening, like actually happening inside my brain, rather than all of these assumptions that we come to about what we think might be good for our brain. Now, this particular woman, Rachel, who's a pharmacist, she is also going through, quite remarkable yoga teacher training. And she and I were talking about how some of the practices that we think are healthy, when we actually have these biofeedback devices, we actually find out that what we've done is we've intellectualized the practice. Oh, we think we're doing it all right, but our body can't lie and won't. What we find is, oh, wow, we're in our heads about this. We're not in our hearts. We haven't actually anchored the feeling or the emotion into our body. And so for whatever it's worth, I can tell you that I then went on to this long conversation with her about, when I wrote these bestsellers about gratitude, one of the conversations I was having most often was how people were like, oh yeah, I'm really grateful. Okay, well, maybe intellectually you are, but emotionally you're not. And if you want your body to actually extract and absorb more oxygen out of your bloodstream, then you actually need to be feeling it, not talking about it. It's really in the doing, right? You need to walk your talk. And people would find it quite confronting, but I would say, seriously, these devices that we have these days, they can actually tell you the truth. Are you really in heart rhythm coherence? What's actually happening with heart rate variability? What's actually happening if we put a clinical EEG device on your head? We here at Positive Prime are actually doing some pretty fancy scientific research with the University of Technology, Sydney, and their Department of Engineering and IT, and these world-class experts in brain-computer interfaces. And a new dawn is emerging for Positive Prime that makes us really, quite frankly, a lot more powerful than we thought that we were. And I can't wait to actually reveal that publicly, and that we've got research that's been published, but it's quite phenomenal. And I have actually been saying this quite often, but it's more obvious to me now. The more they research Positive Prime and the more they understand the potential applications for it and the implications of it, I knew this, but it's really kind of weird to say this to people. I'm not smart enough to have invented Positive Prime by myself. It had to have been the divine. It cannot have been human. It's that brilliant. And people have said to me, oh, you're a genius. And I'm like, please do not use that word. There's actually like a real term, genius, for real geniuses. And there are real geniuses, right? We actually know quite a few because they're in our circle of influence and impact. I'm not a genius. This incredible infinite intelligence flowed through me. They may have chosen me because I'm so tenacious, and stubborn is probably a better word for it. When I dig my heels in, look, they're friggin' dug in. And I'm so well aware of this insatiable appetite humans have to be right. It's part of our reptilian brain. We need to be right. We had to be right. When the formation of the way that we are as beings, sentient beings, we had to know whether something was a threat. Otherwise, we would be extinct, right? And so we assess everything as a potential to harm or kill us. We must. It happens in pre-conscious processing. It is so lightning fast at a fraction of a millisecond. We can't possibly control it, right? But we as human beings in this day and age, living in the societies that we do, we're all control freaks. But it's because we're human. There's nothing wrong with that. We were designed that way so that we could survive. We had to resist or reject anything that was unfamiliar to us. We had to. And so to bring about transformation, real transformation, that is enduring, that's sustainable, that's actually positive, that gives us all a brighter outlook on life and a brighter future, we had to find a way to bypass our conscious critical judgment factors of our prefrontal cortex that actually stops anything new coming in, right? So part of what's miraculous or magical or exquisite or spectacular about Positive Prime is that it facilitates the opening of our hearts and our minds so that we're more open. Jennifer, love you. Goodbye. We'll see you next week, or maybe the week after.
Or maybe
Drop in
tomorrow.
whenever you like.
Or tomorrow. I put my email in there in case so I can get the link. Or will it be in the Facebook group also? The link for tomorrow?
What's tomorrow?
The abundance group?
That was actually 2 hours ago, but that's okay. Guess what? I will say to Mayumi, can we please make sure that Jennifer receives an invitation to our abundance group meetings?
Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Sorry.
So I hope it's been helpful so far.
Yep.
I will copy and save the message. All righty. So anybody else have a question? Have a curiosity?
You know, Kim, I have a real quick question. I've been meaning to ask you for a while. So for me, I find myself being distracted. So I would love to know like a Positive Prime session that you would recommend for like focus, like to be, you just said earlier that like you've got that stubbornness, and you know what, that is what keeps you centered, I am sure, along with your heart coherence and everything. But you know, it really does take that to just keep centered, and especially when so many things vie for our time, right? And that is one area that I really am looking to get dialed into. I can do it for a little bit and then I find myself, you know, the squirrels. And so, yeah, it's just an area in my life that I really would love to, you know, do better at.
Oh, I love the question, Kim. Okay, so a couple of confessions. If you spoke to Cameron, he would tell you I'm the most distracted human being on the planet. right? Like I can be in the middle of 10 different things in the kitchen. And he would say, what did you go to the fridge for? I'm like, oh, I remember, right? So literally hear this with a grain of salt. I actually believe something more exquisite is possible that allows us all more grace and elegance. Do you want to hear it? When you have personalized your positive prime sessions to such an extent that you are placing orders with the divine, and full disclosure, I've got 9,000 personal photographs. Every single experience I could ever want to experience in this lifetime, I have a pictorial representation of it. Every hotel I ever want to stay at, every charity I ever want to contribute to, every person I want to meet at a party, every person I want to meet and work with, right? And when I learn about somebody else and I go, oh, wow, you know what? I would actually really love to get to know them and work with them. I find a photograph of them online and upload it. I used to use the example of Richard Branson. I've actually met Richard Branson, long story short. But anyway, but if there's somebody I really, really, really would like to work with, I have photographs of them in my personal collection. So what I believe happens, what I really believe happens is that the people, the circumstances, the situations, and the resources will be aligned for you. And you don't actually really need to focus, because what you did every single day was you watered the seeds that you planted in the matrix, in the quantum field, in the divine's playground, right? And I promise you, Kim, it's the most beautiful question. I would love to share this far and wide with everybody who's a Positive Prime subscriber, if you wouldn't mind, because it has so much intrinsic and extrinsic value. You can let go of beating yourself up because you are not disciplined enough, or you don't have enough willpower, or you're not focused enough, or you're not paying enough attention, or you're not doing enough, whatever, because guess what? Magically, so long as you are in action. Now, inaction in the quantum could be meditating. Inaction could be giving the people you love a hug with your full presence. Inaction could be making a meal and actually pouring your intention into the meal so that the people that you care about receive your compassionate care. It also includes following up and following through, right?
I just was, as you were saying that, I just really realized what you were talking about earlier as far as heart coherence. And I have a painting on my wall that was, my husband bought me, and it was from a friend of mine that's an artist, and it's just an incredible painting. And it just says, open my heart to all of life. And that is the one area that I find, like, for most people that know me, they know I have a huge heart and everything, but me deep inside, I think that that's part of the distraction, because when you open your heart to all of it, like you said, in the presence of it, then it really doesn't matter where you're at, because you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And
yeah, Kim, you know a few of my stories, right? So I have unwittingly created these huge shifts that have really significant outcomes in the most obscure way. It had to have been divine intervention, because I'm not anywhere near strategic enough, right? And so all I would ask of you, just every day, or a couple of days a week, or every week, or a couple of weeks of every month, or upload photographs into your private collection and make sure that you see them as you're viewing your positive prime sessions, so that you, once you've actually found a photograph that you love, and you know, if you love a photograph, you kind of go, oh wow, it's really beautiful, or wow, you know, that puppy's really cute, whatever it is, right? So you find these photographs or you take photographs. That's like you planting the seed in the quantum field. And then every single time you watch the positive prime session and you see your personal photos, it's you watering the seeds. It's a beautiful thing. It's also so easy to do, right? I think that people kind of freak out when I go 9,000. No, I didn't get them all overnight, right? I added several today, several yesterday, several tomorrow. I'll take a photograph. It makes me much more present also to what it is that I'm truly grateful for. I went to a great lunch with my mum last Friday. I was not drinking alcohol, very rare for me. Not that I have any more than one a day or two a day, but I don't want to sound like an alcoholic, because I'm certainly not. But I was not drinking a cocktail at this fancy restaurant. But she was, and I was so delighted that she was, because my mum drinks much less than that even. But I took a beautiful photograph of this quite artistically arranged cocktail, right? I took a photograph, uploaded it into my personal positive prime session. Guess what? Guess what my emotional connection is? That I was sharing a moment with my mother that was joyful. And so what am I doing? I'm saying to God, my angels, my guides, I'm so grateful for those moments where there's just joy and generosity, right? Every single time my other than consciousness sees that, what am I asking for more of? Like attracts like. The universe is going to give me, God is going to give me, my angels are going to give me the people, the circumstances, the situation, and the resources to bring about lots more moments where I'm present and being generous with somebody, and there's joy. Oh, hallelujah, right? Do I want any more than that in life than just to be in the presence of joy and generosity? No, that's me, right?
Yes. Thank you, Kim. That's so good. And I do have some personal photos, but nowhere close. And I know that you've said that so many times. So I have it on my list to do, and I believe that needs to be more of a priority, you know.
Do one. Okay, so let's just say there's this heart conscious one. Okay, so I'm just going to personalize. I'm going to see, I'm literally just personal. Oh, so whoop. Okay, so it is now loading 9,000 photographs right into this page. And so it's going to take a little while to, oh, here we go. They're being populated. I was doing a consultation the other day with one of my clients who really wants an Academy Award. And so I went to Google and I actually Googled Academy Award winners, and there was this fabulous photo. And so I saved it and I uploaded it, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'm going to fund a film project as an investor that becomes an Academy Award winner. I don't know how the universe is going to answer that, but I can't wait to see, because that's going to be really cool. Or maybe I'm just going to continue to coach other people who are directors and producers and actors, and they're going to get Academy Awards, and I'm going to be holding that space for them. I know, right? But it's just really cool. I was having a conversation with somebody else the other day who said they went to the Blue Hole or something in Jamaica. And so I Googled it and I got a photograph and I've uploaded it. And I thought it's really beautiful. I've never been to Jamaica. I'd quite like to go to Jamaica. I wonder if we could have a Positive Prime conference in Jamaica. I wonder if we could have more members from Jamaica. See, this is how it just works, right? So, all right, let's upload a photo. So I click and I click, and you probably can't see that I've just opened up my dashboard. Oh, I'll tell you something else. This particular friend, we were talking about them owning a new home in Los Angeles. And so I went to the Sotheby's website, because Sotheby's is a real estate website. And I just put in, you know, I can't even remember what I put in for LA. But anyway, this house that was $52 million came up, and I thought, I might get some photos of that. Now, do I need to own that house? I don't know. Maybe if the, you know, stars aligned, I can get to own that house, but maybe actually I'll get invited to a party that's at that house. Or maybe one of my clients will actually get to buy that house. I don't know, but I'm going to upload the photograph anyway because it was a spectacular house. And then I was on Facebook the other day and I saw this incredible image. A friend of mine, Ramona, actually, she had this image on her Facebook page. And so I literally saved it. I've got to show it to you. Bear with me. Let me go up over here. So can you see this? I just love the image. And I thought, oh, I'm going to have that in my personal collection. And every single time I watch a positive prime session, that's going to flash up. That's going to make me super happy. All right, so let's go back here. Oh, no, what did I do? Oh, here it is. It uploaded. The other one, see this LA home? I'll put this over here because you can see it here. Can you see this? Oh, nice house. I would like to be invited to a party in a house that's like this or something even better. Right. So I just place that little order or request into the divine quantum field. Do you get my idea? So it was so easy for me to upload those 3 photos. Now, in this particular session, if I go and select every photograph on this page, select all, the way that it saves is I press play session. And so now those images are going to be in this session and they will pop up, and every single time it plays, I'll get to see it. Now, what if I want those images in other sessions that I view? Well, you just go and save them individually or a collection of them. People ask me why. I'll give you a quick example. Let's just say you're tired, exhausted, and overwhelmed parents, but you would like more romance and intimacy in your life, right? You're probably not going to upload photographs of your children into the session that's about romance and intimacy. I would say they could inhibit the amount of romance and intimacy that's possible. And unless you want to produce more children, you probably don't want to see photographs of your children in the session that is about romance and intimacy. Do you get what I mean? People will say to me, oh, why don't all of your personal images apply to all of the sessions? That is a very good example of why or why not, right? For somebody else, another client of mine, they have a real goal of improving their health. And one of the reasons why is because they have 4 children, young children, and they want to be able to be more active in playing with their children. The same could apply for grandchildren. And so they actually do have photographs of their children, lots of photographs of their children in the sessions that are about fitness. That motivates them, that keeps them attached to their why. That's the value of having different photographs in different sessions. Alrighty. I can see that, Mary Lee, you have been very patient with your hand up. So before we're out of here, let's answer your question. We just need to unmute you. Bear with me. Yay.
Okay, so you answered a lot of the questions about curating your own photos, which has really been a big question of mine. Now, one of the questions I had was, you said, okay, I keep it on, like when I'm doing art, I can't look at the session, but I want it there. Like last week when you said Erin's session, the superhero one, I love the music. I put it on, I just listened to the music for hours because I just really like that music, and I can't wait till you really marry those 2 things, because I really like music and I like that kind of music. So short of me going out and buying another computer so I can have it running right here next to me while I'm doing maybe something on the computer, or I'm doing art where I can't look at the photos, what advice you got about that? Because I know you've said that the whole time that I've been involved. You said, oh, I have it just running.
Okay, so this is where I get a little bit esoteric, right? right? Have you ever seen a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know about quantum physics?
I know of the movie.
Okay.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Well,
What the
what
bleep do we
the
know
bleep
about
do
quantum
we
physics?
know? Yeah. What the bleep do we know? What
Yeah, what the bleep do we know?
bleep
Yeah.
do
I've got
we
that
know? Bear
movie.
with me.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So this is it in case you wanted to know. What the bleep do we know? Came out in 2004. I watched it like 20 times. I had to, because I didn't quite get it the first time, and I still didn't quite get it the second time, and I didn't really get it the third time, and some pennies started to drop by the time I'd seen it 10 times. So, Mary Lee, there is a function. It's a bit clunky at the moment, but we are improving it, and I am working towards our tech partners actually making this more simple and easy. You could mirror from your computer to your TV a positive prime session, a long positive prime session, and just play it on speed one. But I need to ask a clarifying question. Do you create your art physically on some kind of easel, or do you create it online?
I do both. Sometimes I do it on a table where I'm collaging,
Okay.
and sometimes I'm doing it in Canva.
Right, okay. Well, when you're preparing to do some work, what I would do is I would watch a couple of creativity orientated sessions to prime you for the process, right? When you're creating a collage, or you're doing something that's in the physical world, not the digital world, you could actually mirror a positive prime session, say, to a TV, or you could have it playing on your computer. One of the things that I actually do believe, a little controversial, nonetheless, I do believe it, and I have actually really seen evidence of it in my own life, and I've certainly heard of evidence similar in others' lives, so take it for what you will, experiment if you like. From a quantum point of view, what is displaying in full screen on either your computer or your laptop or your iPad or whatever into this physical environment that you're existing in is literally, as Masaru Emoto would have once said, even though, you know, there are some people who are skeptical and cynical about his science, the intention, the energy of your message, and that's what's being conveyed through a positive prime session, changes the energy, the space between us, and certainly in the room. And so I'd be playing it just because I actually want the room to have a life force. Now, apart from the fact that I actually live in a very, very, very interesting house that architecturally adheres to the Fibonacci series from a mathematics point of view, and it is called a Nautilus. You know, I have a Nautilus shell actually back there. So my house is literally magical because of this Fibonacci series mathematics and the architecture. I mean, aside from that, or maybe we chose this house because it chose us, right? So we bought our dream home. It just so happens our dream home is magical. But people do come in here, and magic really does happen. I mean, magic really does happen. There were two couples who came here last year, one of which, and for the individuals, they had been trying everything for a decade to fall pregnant. And I'm talking everything for a decade, everything. And miraculously, they fell pregnant after spending, you know, some time with me in this home. Now, weirdly, he came with his sister, who is also married, and they, brother and sister, the couples, they both fell pregnant from that one visit to me. And they have these divine babies that were born within a couple of weeks of each other. And they truly think that, you know, I did that. I didn't do that. This house is magical. Right. Now, what's even more interesting to me is that this house is filled with an energy from me watching so much positive prime for so long. I'm not surprised. The environment is magical. See, I'm not surprised I'm alive, even though I've had 6 near-death experiences, that nobody else can explain how on earth it is that I'm actually alive. Right? I know it's the divine, magical, majestic, magnificent energy that surrounds me. And I also know that I'm the co-creator of that consciously.
Mhm.
And thousands and then tens of thousands and then hundreds of thousands and then millions of people could avail themselves of that through positive prime. It's just like, you know, we got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of healing on the planet to happen. There's a lot of sharing to occur. And yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Julianne, for sharing this gorgeous time with us. She just sent me a lovely message. I hope to get to Hawaii soon. I really do. I love Hawaii. I was talking to somebody yesterday about them going to Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I love Maui. Actually, do you know what I was telling them? Who wants to hear this? I went to Maui just over 20 years ago, about 23 years ago. And I'd been to an Anthony Robbins Life Mastery University program for whatever it was, 18 days. It was intense. And at the time I lived in London and I was a management consultant in the corporate world. And, you know, anyway, whatever. So I went to Maui afterwards for 10 days. And I went to this black sand beach. I was captivated, absolutely, completely captivated by this black sand beach. I'd done the whole helicopter over the volcano and everything else like that. Oh, look at that. Kimberly got married in Maui. Yay. Okay, so you know what? I said to someone, I have never put 2 and 2 together.
On that beach.
I think it was in Maui. Yeah, I was watching windsurfers.
Yeah. It's
There's
on
no
the
such thing as kite surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I got married right down from Black Sand Beach. It's just incredible. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Right. So I was there and I'd been totally vegan without caffeine or alcohol or anything else because of Tony. And I bought a packet of Oreos and I had 1 Oreo biscuit, which I'd never had before. And I was violently ill for 24 hours. It's like, what on earth is in those things? Anyway, needless to say, I've never eaten another one since. Probably shouldn't have eaten that as the first thing in actually retoxing myself after a detox. But anyway, but it was there that I think I literally gave birth to who I am today and what is actually happening. I flew back to London after that and I spoke to the firm that I was employed by and said, I think I need to go on sabbatical and I'm going to think about what I'm going to do on sabbatical. But in order to do that, I'm going to go to Mauritius. I don't know where on earth I got the idea, but Mauritius is where lots of people in England go on vacation. It was 12 hours flying. I'd only just come from Hawaii via, you know, like Florida all the way back to London. Anyway, they're like, but you've just been away for 28 days. And I went, yeah, and I'm going to be away for another couple of weeks. Anyway, I went to Mauritius for another couple of weeks and I sat there and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm not going back to management consulting and mergers and acquisitions. I'm going to do something completely different. And that's when I decided to go and enroll to become an exercise physiologist and an osteopath. And it's actually when I did my very first Reiki course. Can you believe it? It was over 20 years ago, 23 years ago. Anyway, had I not done any of that, we wouldn't be here right now. In fact, really, had I even not gone to that Anthony Robbins Life Mastery University program, which was after I'd already done Date with Destiny in Tampa, Florida. And all of this as well, I was living in the UK. Anyway, we would not be here today. So I think Hawaii is a really, really, really magical place for me. And so I got this like desire now to go back and anchor myself there, my feet in the sand. And I wonder what else will come through me. So, Julianne, be ready. Because when I'm on my way, I'll be going, I'm on my way to Hawaii. Who's where? Who can I play with? Alrighty.
Yeah, we can do some luau.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Well, maybe we'll get lots of other positive primers to meet us there as well.
Yeah, have a conference here.
Get that, or just like, hey, I'm going to be at the Hilton. What was it called? There's a massive Hilton on the Big
Hilton
Island.
Hawaiian.
Yeah, maybe I'll just say, hey,
on my
I'm going
island.
to be there. Whoever. Oh, Big Island. Yes, it was. Yes.
Waikoloa.
Yes, that's it.
It's beautiful there.
Yeah. Well, it was 20 years ago.
That's
Anyway,
right.
so
Dinner, my wedding dinner was there. It was called a different name at that time, like 19 years ago, Julianne.
Wailea? Are you talking about Maui? There's so many islands.
Yeah, Maui, on Maui. It was the huge, I think it's a Hilton now, but it's huge. It has all the little islands in the middle, all the private little rendezvous. Oh my gosh, it was just incredible. Just incredible. Love it.
Merrily, will we see you in Hawaii too? Yeah, why not? Okay, alrighty. I better put a flag in the sand and say, hey, we're gonna do Hawaii in what's the best month in Hawaii?
Depends. Do you like it hot or cool? Because
Warm.
in winter, it's always
Warm.
sunny here, but there's occasional rain, so it's just your luck. You don't want to be here for a week and it's raining the whole week.
No.
So more
No.
like in May, March, April, May, June, and then the summers is always, bright and sunny. Oh, look at the beach.
I like the idea of May 2023. What do you think?
Sounds good.
I think we should, anyway, I'll share this with my team. I better go. Do you know what? Unfortunately, I've got another person who just showed up for a meeting. I heard them actually outside. So bye.
Okay, aloha.
See you
Bye,
next
everybody.
week. Ciao.